There's a lot of like kind of the old guard in college football coaches wise that I really, really like.
Sure.
But some of them are starting to kind of, what's the best way to describe it? Like show their age a little bit.
Sure.
In the sense that the game seems to maybe be slipping by them.
Oh, there's a line of delineation between young and old in college football. Like, how many old coaches are there truly? You've got Kirk Ferentz, you've got Kyle Whittingham, you've got Brian Kelly. Who am I forgetting? There's one other one that's older in there that I'm totally blanking on.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's different.
I know.
But, yeah. But
what I would say, what people, I'll take Brian Kelly out of this, but to take Kirk Ferentz and Kyle Whittingham, for example, what they have in common is their programs are fairly unique.
Yes, their identity is them.
Exactly. Yeah. And so even though that the game changes, whether it's NIL, scholarships, they don't. And they can kind of still navigate it because, yeah, there's a new money aspect that comes in and changes stuff, but they're still allowed to operate how they operate. You know, Kyle Whittingham is at Utah till the day he dies if he wants. Same with Kirk Ferentz. I felt this way about Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. I really thought he was the guy, you know, he reps the mullet. I'm a man, I'm 40, clearly a player's guy. And if there's anybody that's probably any old guard that's going to get fired at the end of the year, I have to think Mike Gundy is on that list. He's underperformed at Oklahoma State for years now.
Signetti was the other one I was trying to think of.
Oh, Signetti.
Signetti 64.
But Gundy has underperformed at Oklahoma State for years now.
Yeah.
Like, that program is not what it was.
No, gone are the days of Whedon and Blackman and, you know, the perennial air raid offenses and put up. And I think you can draw a pretty straight line between T. Boone Pickens dying and Oklahoma State slow decline. Because, you know, the idea, and this is a nice little segue, where Gundy talked about money. Well, Oklahoma State probably doesn't have the money that they once had with T. Boone Pickens, who was like, you know what? I've got more money than God, and Oklahoma State is the thing that I love. I'm going to spend all my money on that.
Totally. And if I, you know, we were talking about the lotto. It's $1.4 billion.
Yeah. Of which I will not be here tomorrow because I'm winning it.
Yeah, if I win that, I'm down to throw $10 million at my NIL. You know, for your team. I'll throw $10 million at that. Yeah, I don't care. Because if you have FU money, what the hell do you care?
It's nothing.
But with T gone, and it's sad too because the days of Bedlam are over. Even though, you know, they'll still play Oklahoma in a rivalry game, but those days of 58 to 55 are gone because Oklahoma State, despite the Big 12 getting kind of saucy, spicy, there's no real dominant team, so which I think makes that conference fun.
Yeah.
They're not one of them.
No.
And for Mike Gundy to come out and kind of cry wolf a little bit was a little sad to me, but also kind of the state of Oklahoma State and the state of Mike Gundy, to be honest. He had this to say about the Oregon Ducks.
The same thing as you. They're a good football team. You know, Oregon is playing really well. You know, I think they're well coached. They're spending a lot of money. And, you know, they've put a lot into that organization, and you can see they're a good football team.
The little jab in there about the money, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I was alluding to with, you know, Oklahoma State no longer. Like, that's the thing. Like, Oklahoma's not a. To be fair, Oregon is not a state that has a ton of billionaires.
No,
I believe the total actual like billionaires in Oregon is 3. There's other guys whose net worth kind of get there in a roundabout way, but the actual like Oregon residents who are worth over $1 billion. It's because Huang doesn't live here,
right?
The NVIDIA.
So I wouldn't count him.
So he's not. It's Phil Knight and there's somebody else, and I can never remember who the hell it is. But after that, there's a lot of guys with hundreds of millions, and Oklahoma is very similar. It's not Texas. Yes, there's some oil money there, certainly, but there's not the proliferation of huge population centers that have crazy money. Like Texas has got oil money, but you also have just Texas money,
yeah,
which is insane. Like
also, that's why, blue blood program money.
Well, that's why even like a program like SMU has more money than God
because it's Texas.
Because it's Texas and it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area,
and it's religious.
Well, even them, they have a small enrollment, but they have an insane amount of money. Where Oklahoma State just doesn't have that. Where Oklahoma has more of that because it's the bigger institution in the state. Mm-hmm. So not only are you little brother in state, you're little brother in your conference. Like, if you look at the rest of the Big 12...
Your little brother in your conference that is starting to be a borderline little brother conference.
I think the Big 12. Big 12 still there.
I take that back. That was a shot at Big 12. I didn't mean to do that.
But like, does Utah have a ton of money? No, but BYU does.
And Utah, I would say, is a better program than BYU.
Arizona State has more. They have the highest enrollment in the country now. It's like 100. What we talked about, Dusty and I talked about like last year. I think it was like 120,000.
Well, they don't really have standards to get in there.
But but when you, it's like Ohio State and Michigan were the number 2 enrollment programs in the country.
Oh, and you just I know that as an adult just because of all the Buckeyes I see everywhere I go.
They just churn graduates out, and if you have so many people, you can overcome some shortfalls. But Oklahoma State has neither of those things, and so you get Mike Gundy, and I'm a man, I'm 40, which was that was like 20 years ago now.
20 years ago.
That's insane to think about.
That's wild.
But that's kind of where you are with this now.
And that's why I think he's the kind of guy that the game has kind of passed him by. Mm-hmm. And you saw people like, I mean, if you don't think Saban saw what was going on and walked away, not wanting to be a part of that, you're a fool. Yeah. Because he definitely took a look at what was going on. And
said, I can't control this all the time? No, I'm good.
I'm good. And now, you're hearing A.J. McCarron come out and saying that Alabama's cash poor, which I don't believe, but somehow could be true. And some guys just walk away from that. That's why a guy like Lanning, I think, is so perfect for today's world because he's young enough that he understands what's going on.
Not only that,
and he can adapt.
Lanning's line was fantastic.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah, it sounds like there is, listening to him talk. Like I said, I got a ton of respect for Coach Gundy. Ultimately, how blessed are we to be in a place that's invested in winning? If you want to be a top 10 team in college football, you better be invested in winning. And we spend to win. Some people save to have an excuse for why they don't, right? And ultimately, like, he's a great coach. They've done an unbelievable job, but I want to be a team that's competing at the highest level. And we're really fortunate to be in that situation. So I can't speak on their situation. I have no idea, what they got in their pockets over there. I'm sure UT Martin maybe didn't have as much as them last week, and they played. So we'll let it play out.
Body blow, body blow, body blow, haymaker. I hope to God that that's a Lanning line and not like a PR line. Sure. I hope all my faith in Oregon as a program is because of that guy.
I think so too. And that's why, like, someone brings this up on the YouTube chat. It's a scary reality for Duck fans what life will be like post Uncle Phil.
Oh, yeah, they'll be fine.
I think they'll be fine.
They have been one of the smartest programs in the country with as far as their, like, it's not just Phil. Like, look, I'm not Oregon guy. I've been down there. I've talked to people that work in different programs, football, basketball, and they all say the same thing. All of them. It's not just Phil. Phil gave a lot of money to the program or programs in general and the school
facilities
in
general.
And all that kind of stuff.
Gorgeous.
But it's been their investment portfolio. Mm-hmm. Like the way that thing runs, they have a truckload of money in a portfolio that owns land and properties and all these different things that you get money out of.
Yeah.
And it's a money maker for them that continues to keep going post Phil.
And I'll tell you what too. If Dan Lanning sticks around, which I think he will for at least 5 or 6 more years, and you have to imagine, I mean, I don't wish it on anybody, but like Phil's old. And if he goes and Dan Lanning is still there, he's the kind of coach that will adapt, that will figure out what life is like post Phil, to where Gundy has not figured out life post T.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
they have a bill for that now.
Where this that's kind of where this sits. And look, I have a lot of respect for Mike Gundy. I've really enjoyed his career and watching him as a coach. I would love it if my kid played for Mike Gundy, but I don't know why you're poking the bear. And
that's what you got to do right now because Oklahoma State's not. Like, look,
I know.
What's the line? 28.
Yeah, 27.5, 28.5.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. And to Lanning's point, dude, like, is this to make excuses? Are you just doing this to make excuses?
That line,
because right now, dude,
blessed to have the money to have it. It's like, oh God, that's just
well, and it's just like we want to be a top 10 team. And he's basically saying you don't want to be a top 10 team. Otherwise, you would do the exact same thing as we do.
And that's again kind of coming full circle to the super conference thing. It's like get the teams in that want to play by the big boy rules, because there is a line of demarcation.
Right.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you're not going to be a part of that, I hate saying this, you're playing a different sport.
You are. I mean, that's what I talk about with my team now. Is that I play, my alumni, my fandom plays a different game than what Ohio State plays.
Yes.
We play a very, very different game.
It's
basketball, we might still be in the same game. But I think that's the nature of basketball, especially at the college level. You can have UPs compete with, with Ohio State, or you can have a Wazoo compete with a Florida. I mean, not really, but you can some years.
I mean, Washington
when the
State
tournament starts.
Can go get a Jalen Wells and develop
Totally.
him. They can go get a Cedric Coward from Eastern Washington and make that happen. Like, there's ways to do that. Where in football, there's no way to do. Like, look,
it's so much harder.
I think you can still Boise State this thing. I
Totally.
think you can still Oregon State early days this thing.
Totally.
And have a program that rises and falls, but the fall isn't as far, but maybe the rise isn't as high either. Like, you can be a 9 to 11 win team, even in a Power 5, even though we're Power 4 conference.
And you could be a 6-win team the next year and then be a 9-win team again the next year.
Yeah.
It fluctuates a little bit in those.
But you don't have to drop down to 2.
No, you
don't.
don't.
That's one of those things.
Yeah.